Hello everyone! Welcome to the 5th lecture of ARCHLine.XP 2024 preliminary course, the documentation workshop. In this session, we will look at how to create documentation from completed projects for clients, professionals, and co-designers. If you haven't done so already, download the Workshop Project 2024 for our website. Let's get to work. Let's open the reception room start file of the documentation workshop and then save a project of your own. We will work in this project and first we will create a mood board. We can do this with using the documentation mood board create mood board command. Let's set the paper size we want to work with, A3 with landscape orientation. I want to create just one piece, so the columns and rows will both 1. The margin should be 4 by 4. I won't include a plot stamp for now. I'll accept it with OK. This mood board will be created in a new window. First, I will import an image by clicking on the Documentation Mood Board Raster Image command. We will work with pictures found in the documentation folder. We won't modify the properties now. We accept them with OK. Place the image with the first click and set its size with the second. Place the other images using the drag and drop method. Open the Pictures folder on your computer, drag the image onto the ARCHLine.XP icon. Place it and set its size. Repeat this with a few other images. Now let's see how we can modify the images, such as moving, resizing, stretching, and modifying other properties. First, resize the image. Select the image, click on the Resize command and modify the size. Next is resizing by specifying values. Click on the size marker and change the X or Y dimensions. It is possible to stretch the image, but this also distorts them, so be careful which images you're using for this. To move the images, click on the Move marker. You can also mirror the images. Select the image, right-click, choose Edit, Flip, and then select horizontal or vertical flipping. You can also crop the images. Click on the square marker and select Crop, then specify the amount to crop and press Enter. You can also change the draw order of individual images if they overlap. Select the image and set its position in the draw order. Now let's place materials on the mood board. In the Design Center, find the 935018 material. Drag it onto the mood board and select the option to insert as a raster image. You can also create colors on the board using the Rectangle tool. Draw the desired area, in this case 400 by 400 mm rectangle, and then the hatching properties. Set it to solid. Set the desired background fill color. We will choose a color from the Pantone scale, for example S31-4, and accept it with OK. Select the Hatch Pick Point command, click into the middle of the rectangle and press Enter. It's done. Let's create a text label with the text tool type mood board and place it. Set the font size to 10 mm and change its color to the same Pantone color. We are done with the mood board. Now let's print it to PDF using the documentation print command. The ARCHLine.XP user interface will switch to the print window. Here you can set the printing properties, and in the print preview you can see how it will look. For the printer, choose PDF printing and in Browse, specify the file name and location. Set the size to A3, landscape orientation, and the entire drawing. Center the plot and the scaling will be 1:1. By clicking the print button, the PDF will be created, which we can open. Now we are done with the mood board. We return to ARCHLine. By clicking Cancel, we return to ARCHLine interface. Let's continue working by creating a snapshot in the 3D view. Activate the 3D window. Select the Documentation Snapshot 3D View command. Set the image resolution, the save format, and save it. The program will activate the floor plan view, allowing us to place it on the floor plan. It's done. Let's take a look. The next step is to create an architectural floor plan, which is an essential part of the documentation. This includes only architectural elements as well as dimensions and some 2D symbols. Turn off the living room layers in the Layer Manager. Accept it with OK, and we will have a completely clean floor plan. First, we will dimension the walls and openings. Start by creating a new wall dimensioning style. Click the Add button to create the style. Name it All Walls and then click Edit to set the dimension options. Moving from the inside out, add the interior walls with opening width, interior wall dimension, exterior walls corner points, and exterior walls overall dimension. Check the detail dimension settings for doors and windows. Only the width should be included now. Set this to the current one. Choose the Annotate Building All Walls command. Select the entire floor plan and place the dimension lines. Click once and it's done. Next, we will dimension the openings, but first we need to check their properties. Click on Building, Properties, Opening, Door and Window. Start with the door. Click the Dimension Consignment button. We will need the width and height in 2 rows, and I will turn off the Width minus Reveal on the left-right side option. Accept it with OK and do the same settings for the windows. Here we need the sill height and the internal floor elevation will be 0. Accept it with OK. Click on the Annotate Building window, All Comments to create scaling for windows. Do the same for the doors. You can modify and move the dimensions. If there are too many overlapping dimensions, choose the Move Text options. You can delete duplicate dimensions using the dimension string. Delete dimension string command. To add dimensions, use the dimension string Insert Dimensions command. Next, we will place 2D symbols, a north direction, an entrance sign, and an elevation quota. Before placing the north direction, first set the project direction. Click the gray arrow in the bottom status bar. From the Design Center under Groups, select a north arrow and place it on the floor plan. The north arrow will align with the north direction we set earlier. Since it was created as a group, I can scale and move it. Place the arrow at the entrance as well and rotate if necessary. Add the elevation from the Annotate menu. Choose the object and the point on it, then set the height of the bottom or the top plane. Choose the relevant marker symbol, confirm with OK, and place it on the floor plan. Next, we will create the room stamp. This can be found under the Building menu in the Room and Area submenu. There are two ways to place it, as a room by walls or with room by polygon. Now I will choose the room by walls, and by clicking inside the room, I will create the stamp. By clicking on it, we can rename the room and modify the properties of the stamp, such as text, size, font. If there is no suitable text style, we can create a new one. Right-click to select the Drafting text tool, then choose Properties. Set the font to Verdena with a font size of 200 mm and save the new style as Verdena 200. Select this for the room data text style. Confirm it with OK. If you want to scale rooms with different functions in the same space using the room stamp, use the room separation line. Create the new line from wall to wall using the Building, Room and Area Room Separation Line command. Finally, create the drawing name and place it above the floor plan. Print the finished floor plan using the Documentation Print command. Set the print properties. PDF printing, name it under the Browse, A3 size, landscape orientation, entire drawing, set the plot in the center, 1:50 scale, then print. The architectural floor plan is completed in PDF format. In the next step, we will create a colored furnishing layout with a floor snapshot. First, we will create different layer variations. On the right side of the Layer Manager, we can create new variations with the plus button. The first one will be the furnishing layout, where we make the living room furniture, accessories, and lighting visible, but hide the dimension and text. Let's create the architect layout in the same way. We can switch between variations at the top in the View control bar. Choose the furnishing layout. Rebuild the 3D model. With the Documentation Snapshot Create Floor Plan Snapshot command, we record the finished model as a snapshot. Set the image resolution and the cutting elevation. When setting the cutting elevation, consider the height of the windows and doors to ensure they are included in the section. The completed snapshot can be moved like an image. Let's see how we can display objects with depth as if they are really positioned above or below each other. Let's add fill to the objects. Select the objects, enable 2D fields, then within the Display 2D fields set the hatch to solid and specify the background fill color. By setting the draw order, we can achieve a special effect. Create the other objects in the same way. Next, we will create wall views. In the Documentation Wall View Settings menu, select the Image Representation mode and set the visual style to Realistic. Here you can set whether or not the dimension the cabinets. If there is none, you can turn off this setting. I will also leave the symbol display turned off. I want the floor slab not to be visible under the walls, so I will set the section lower limit to 0. Using the documentation wall view single wall view command, select the wall view to be created, then determine the viewpoint. Press Enter to accept and place the wall view. Next, we will create a vector drawing wall view with hidden line mode, displaying symbols. We will also create the view of the opposite wall. You can click on the edge to adjust the width and offset, but we won't change this now. Accept it with Enter and place it. Wall views are created as a group, making them editable. Once you enter, you need to exit by closing the group. Let's see how we can dimension the wall views. We will use horizontal and vertical serial dimensioning. First, horizontally. Specify the dimension points, then press Enter to close the dimension line. I will also create a full dimension line. We will do the same vertically. The wall views are now complete. Next, we will create a tag for one of the pieces of furniture. In the documentation menu, select Tags, then Create Tags. In the interior discipline, select the object. Currently, the following data appears on the tag: ID, object name, width, height. I will add the depth as well. I will turn off the visibility of the ID, set the prefixes. Accept the settings and place the tag. The tag and the object are linked, so the tag follows changes in the object. For example, if the width of the sofa is changed, this will be reflected when the tag is updated. Let's see how we can create plot layouts and then print them either all at once or individually. Create a plot layout by clicking on Documentation, Plot Layout, Prepare Plot Layout. Format will be A3. I will create a total of 6, arranged in 3 columns and 2 rows. The layout name will be A002 with landscape orientation and 4 by 4 mm margin. I would also like to place a plot stamp, the one named English 1 horizontal. Click OK to accept. The program creates the plot layouts in a separate window. First, I place the furnishing layout on the plot layout by selecting the furnishing layout variation. Drag the ground floor from the project navigator to the first plot layout at the scale of 1 to 50. Now, everything that appears on the floor plan is displayed. Click on the edge marker to specify how much of the floor plan should be displayed on the plot layout. We only need the furnishing floor plan now. Let's see how we can place the wall views on the plot layout. Select all layer variations on the floor plan. Use the documentation, plot layout, create viewport command. The viewports display a selected part of the model on the plot layout, such as section, floor plan, or 3D model. Multiply views can be placed on a single plot layout at different scales and orientations. We can select the wall views and place them on the plot layout, such as sheet A002 at 1 to 50 scale. The program activates the plot layout and I place it. If I don't need a scale, I delete it. Let's fill in the stamp. Click on File, BIM, Project Parameters. Set the project details: name, version number, address, client, architect, and date. Click OK to accept. If the stamp does not update it automatically, select Documentation, Plot Layout, Update Project Parameters. You can provide the other information by selecting the pop-up parameter. On the next plan sheet, we place the architectural floor plan, so I select the architect layout variation on the floor plan. From the project navigator, we drag the ground floor onto the plot layout using the drag and drop method. We choose the 1:50 scale. I trim the unnecessary part using the offset tool. I don't need the tag and the upper text now, so we turn off this layer. Before printing the plot layout, we check if all necessary layers are printable. In the Layer Manager, we can see under the Use Layers if a layer is not printable, indicated by the red X. I turn back on the non-printable layer. I confirm with OK. We add a new plot layout using the documentation, Plot Layout, Prepare Plot Layout command. Now we only add one plot layout, so I enter one row and one column. The program asks if I want to create a new plot layout. No, as I want to add to this one. The 7th plot layout is created, which I can move or even delete. I won't need it, so I delete it. We can also update the drawings on the plot layout. For example, now I modify something in the wall view. I delete the TV. After updating the wall frontal view, we also refresh the view on the plot layout. The TV disappeared everywhere. The program reacted to the changes. Now we move on to printing, first printing the furnishing layout. By clicking Documentation, Print, we can set the print properties. I choose PDF printing in A3 size, landscape format. I want to print sheet A003 at 1:1 scale, center the plot. By clicking the Print button, the PDF is created. When printing multiply plot layout, we use the print queue. Here, by clicking the plus button, I select the plot layout that contains 6 sheets. I confirm with OK. I set the print properties and click Apply. The program then creates the print queue. By clicking on the sheets, the program shows them in a preview. If the preview doesn't work, we can see them enlarged by clicking on the wrench icon. We can modify the order of the sheets using the arrows. We can turn off the visibility of unwanted blank pages. I specify where the program should save it and what name it should have. I click the Print button to print. We are done with the documentation. We have placed a stamp on the plot layout, but now I want to show how to create your own stamp. I drew a rectangle using the Drafting Rectangle tool with dimension of 30 by 165 mm. I divide this area using the Line command. I place the reference point in the left corner and place the line 15 mm up. I duplicate this using the Edit, Duplicate command. The number of copies is 8. Using the Drafting Line tool, I create additional vertical guidelines, which will help in placing the text. Let's fill this stamp with information. Click Documentation, Plot Layout, Create Plot Stamp, Variable command. Here, select the desired parameters: project name, project version number, project address, client name, architect name, and creation date. Set the text height to 2 mm and confirm with OK. Place the parameters. In the list of options, choose Display the value of the parameter option. This can be modified if desired. To complete the stamp, we need additional data not included in the project information. This will be placed as parameters such as scale, sheets, and drawing name, which may change continuously. We create this using the drafting text tool. First, place the drawing name, set its size to 2 mm. Make copies by moving the copies and then rename them. Next are the scale and sheet. Let's create the parameters. Parameters cannot contain special characters, accent, or spaces. Let's convert them into parameters. Parameters can be created using the local menu Convert Text to Variable option. Once saved, the parameters will become visible. I also create a logo, which I selected from the Documentation Pictures folder. I place it using the drag and drop method and then resize it. Then I delete the guidelines and save the plot stamp. I click Documentation, Plot Layout, Create Plot Stamp, New Plot Stamp option. I select the plot stamp, press Enter, specify 2 reference points, press Enter, and save it to the library. If we click on it now, we can immediately enter the missing information. Let's see how we can use this on an already placed plot layout. I delete the previous stamp. Browse the Design Center for the new stamp and place it on the plot layout. Enter the missing data. If necessary, we can update the plot layout information using the Documentation Plot Layout Update Project Parameters command. We are done. We return to the floor plan. Select all layers. I want to show the print area, which allows us to select areas for printing on the floor plan. In the Documentation Print, Define Printable Area menu, we can select the print area, such as the 3D view. In the Print menu, I set PDF printing and then specify Area 1 instead of the entire drawing. Once everything is set, I print it. It's done. In the Documentation, Print, Manage Printable Areas menu, we can manage or delete the selected areas. This brings us to the end of today's workshop video. Thank you for joining me. I hope it was useful. See you in the next session. Have a great day. Goodbye.